Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I have another brand new video for you guys. I'm so freaking excited to film this. I never thought that this day would come. I have officially lived in Los Angeles, California for just short of 13 months at this point, which is blowing my mind right now. Half of me feels like I've lived here forever. Half of me is like, what the heck? I moved here last month. There's no way it could be a year. I moved here July 12th, 2018, and it is currently July 29th, so almost August. It's so crazy. This year is going by so quick too. I don't know what's going on. I'm like so paranoid that this whole entire video is gonna be like me looking naked. Swear. Before I moved here approximately 12 months ago, I binge watched all of the videos on YouTube. I swear I watched every single one of them on moving to LA, my experience, the truth, how I really feel. I was like, I'm gonna get the tea on LA before I even move there. I'm gonna be ahead of the game so it's not gonna swallow me up and spit me out. So that being said, obviously it was still nothing like I thought it was gonna be, and it still came in and freaking destroyed for a little bit. Life in LA is like, it's going really well. Oh my god, everything's so good. And then like the next week is like, oh my god, everything's falling apart. My life is horrible. Everything sucks. And the next week is like, okay, we're getting back into it. Oh my god, this is good now again. It's just changing all the time. LA is like the most fast-paced. Everything is like go, go, go. You're never gonna be prepared for it until you come here. But with that being said, I feel like I have a year of knowledge on my back that I can share with people that are wondering or want to move to LA. This video, we're not playing around. I have a whole list on my laptop. It's right here. I'm gonna be going at it. I'm gonna tell you guys the truth, what's up, everything. If you want to know, if you're thinking about moving to LA, prepare yourself. A little insight on where I came from. So I graduated high school last May, so May 2018. I graduated high school and I decided to move out here 3 weeks after. It was a lot, but I just decided I don't want to go to college. I'm just gonna send it. So my whole life I grew up in Wisconsin, which obviously is nothing like LA, probably the polar opposite. So obviously growing up in a place like Wisconsin was never going to prepare me for what LA has to offer, especially I've like had lived with my parents my whole entire life. Again, I like had just graduated high school. I moved out at 18. Yeah, I turned 18 4 months before, so kind of freshly 18, and I was jumping into it. So I'd never had an apartment before. I had never lived by myself. I had never done anything by myself. My parents are like the best. Yeah, I don't know, I was not prepared to live by myself, but I just thought, how am I gonna get prepared if I don't just, you know, jump into it and, you know, experience it. So that's a little backstory on this whole situation. I'm from Wisconsin. It's farmlands. Like, this is the city. There's no similarities of the two. Midwest and West Side, never. So probably the first thing that I noticed, and is still the biggest thing in my life, is the fact that everything is 10 times more expensive out here. Food, Ubers, gas, movie tickets, like everything is on a whole nother level. I think gas in Wisconsin is like $2, a little over $2. It's $5 here. It's over $5 here. That does not apply to me because I don't have a car, which I'll get to later. But yeah, a movie ticket is like 17 bucks here. We have $5 movies in Wisconsin. Like, just the total, like, I was not prepared for how expensive it was, and I didn't have that much money saved up when I moved out here. I worked all of high school. I had like 3 different jobs in high school, and I wasn't too great about saving my money, especially just being in school. I was like buying, I have so much makeup. I wish I wouldn't have spent it on what I did in high school, but you live in your life. Yeah, I don't know. I was not prepared for how much I had saved. I think I came out here with a little less than $5,000, which is insane to say right now because I could never live off of that. I don't know how. I don't know how, actually. If you move out here with $5,000, it will be sucked up in 2 months max, just with food. Like, living, any rent anywhere is well over half of that, so it's a lot. So I would say if you're gonna move out here, definitely have a good amount saved, which is something that like didn't really click with my head until I moved here. But just so you know, going along with how expensive like food is and stuff in grocery stores, it's very hard to be healthy, I've realized, especially when I first moved here. I did not have money to buy tons of like healthy stuff. Obviously the healthier stuff is the more expensive, which is unfortunate because it should be easier to be healthy. But I don't know, we are not very healthy in Wisconsin. There's not a variation of like healthy restaurants. Wisconsin is the state of beer and cheese. But here we have Creation, Earth Cafe, all of these restaurants that are so healthy, but smoothies are like $13. Wellness shots are like $5 a shot. Like, it's just not very sustainable to get that kind of food or, you know, healthy stuff for your daily life unless you can afford that stuff, which at the time I still couldn't afford to go to Creation every day. Like, no way. Yeah, I don't know. It's very difficult to want to be healthy and not get to be healthy. That was what I struggled with a lot at the beginning. Everything's very expensive. That's my first point. Still on the topic of food, oh my god, and it's so tempting because we have Postmates, we have DoorDash, we have, what else is there? There's like 5 different apps for getting food delivered to your house. I swear, it's like so tempting, but it's so funny because the cost obviously goes up a lot for delivery and just, you know, having them come to your house or whatever. So that is something that I also did a lot when I first moved here. I was like, oh, I don't want to go out and go grocery shopping because, again, I don't have a car. So I was like, oh, I'll just have it sent. And you realize that it adds up so quickly. You like have to like understand in the long scheme of like how much you're spending a day, because there was a point where I was spending like $100 a day and I was like, whoa, no, I cannot, like I can't live off that, you know? So you have to definitely like put down a budget for yourself, which I haven't started doing until like a few months ago, and it's been life-changing. Yeah, I don't know, it's like, it's definitely hard, especially if you're coming right out of high school, to have to know like how much do you need to put away for bills, how much do you need to put away for like grocery shopping, for rent, for savings, for like taxes at the end of the year. You know, it's like a lot to have to wrap your head around and like calculate on like what you're spending and how much it's like, you know, gonna transfer later. So that's a big thing as well. Money is just a big thing here. It's hard. Okay, I keep talking about it, but let's get to this whole car situation. So obviously LA is full of Ubers, of Lyfts. It's not hard to get around at all. I mean, traffic is insane. It's hard to get around, but like it's not hard to get a car. If you don't have a car, it's not a big deal actually. I've not found that much wrong with not having a car. I would love to have a car at some point, but especially right now, I was the worst driver in Wisconsin, let alone driving here. I think I would die. So it's not a huge deal that I don't have one right now, but I definitely think in the future it would be nice because Ubers get very expensive. I go downtown for work a few times a week, so it definitely is pricey. I have talked to people and I've asked, like, do you think that cars are cheaper? Because like with parking, everything like that, parking is a nightmare here. First of all, I cannot parallel park for the life of me. Never. I don't even know how to parallel park to that, like, at all. I don't even know how to drive. I don't even know I'm acting like I know how to drive. First of all, parking, you can't even find parking, and if you do, it's like a tiny ass spot that you need to squeeze into, a parallel park on a busy street, stop traffic, like it's a whole thing. I don't know, parking is very expensive though too. Obviously gas is insanity out here. So I feel like people could go either way on if Ubering is more expensive or driving is, because I've talked to 2 different types of people that say either one. So I don't know, but I live in a very populated area in West Hollywood, so I feel like I can walk a lot of places, which thank God, because I love walking and the weather's amazing. So at some point I would love a car when I can afford gas, parking, all that, learn how to drive, you know. Okay, rent and apartments. Dear God. Rent out here is anywhere between, if you want to get like a studio, I think probably like the cheapest around like in like a nice area would be like $1,500 all the way up to $3,000 for a studio if it's insanely nice. I live in a studio. I live in a really nice area. Security was very important to me because if I'm gonna live by myself, I did not want to live in like a sketchy area, anything like that. I chose a very nice area, even though the price came with the security of the area. It definitely boosted everything up a lot. I chose something more expensive just to feel good, which I don't regret because obviously Los Angeles is a city and there are bad parts of the city as well as good parts, so I didn't want to live anywhere. Security means more to me. Like, I would pay more for that. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay. With that being said, how expensive studios are and living by yourself, I definitely would recommend roommates. I regret it. If I was moving out here again, instead of working my butt off, I would have had roommates and like been able to transition instead of like jumping in and having to work my ass off to be able to afford something like this. Definitely go roommate route because holy shit, you will not regret it. Okay, so I know there are a lot of assumptions about people that don't live in LA, how the people are in LA, as well as the people that do live in LA also have an opinion about this, but how the people are they as fake as so many people think they are, or like what the deal is? This is something that I was a little bit nervous about to leave in Wisconsin because Midwest people are the nicest people you will ever meet, like almost too nice. I was a little nervous to come to a place like this and just see people that are very like not as nice and like know how to be in that environment. So personally, I think everybody will have a different experience with this, but for me, I think yes, there are a lot of fake people. I don't think it's crazy. Like, I think you need to find right people because they are here. It took a while for me to find like a peer group of friends, but also it's like I think it would take a while anywhere, and I think, you know, you just have to be in the right areas to find those kind of people. I don't know. I've come across way more nice people than people that are like totally fake to my face. Overall, I think first moving here, like the first month, I was like, oh my gosh, everybody's so nice. But then I think when you actually get into, like when you actually live here and are around all these people every day, I think you kind of start to see the fakeness. But right at the beginning, everybody seems amazing. I've had people visit me and be like, people are so nice in LA, like I totally did not expect that. And it's like, yes, they are, but a lot of people are not, and you don't really, like, if you're just visiting, you won't meet those people probably. But for me personally, I have had a really good experience with people. I think all my friends and everybody that I know out here is super cool, luckily. I do think though that LA, everybody is on their own agenda, and I think people are very selfish when it comes to like their time. I've had, you know, especially being in like modeling and stuff, I've had like photographers or stylists or like different kinds of people like that, like change around things. Like, I don't know, I think it's hard to realize that like you have to be out for yourself, because if you're gonna like mend your schedule for everybody else's, like it's not gonna end up working for you. And I tried to do that for so long. I was like, well, now this guy has a different shoot on this day, and so we can't shoot, so now I'm gonna go this day, but then I have to move this shoot with this person. Like, you just have to make it clear that you also have a schedule, and it's not just gonna be like mended with everybody else's, because I think that's really hard, that everybody is just trying to do what's best for them, obviously, to make the most money for themselves, which makes sense. Again, it's insane, crazy to live here, so expensive, so you gotta do what you gotta do, but you have to remember that you have to do that for yourself too, which was very hard for me in the beginning to understand, that everybody's only looking out for themselves, and you have to do the same thing for yourself. But not in a bad way. Obviously, like, make time for people and make time for yourself, but you know what I'm saying? On a healthy level, be selfish, because especially if you're in the age range of like teens to your 20s, I think that is the time to be selfish and get as far as you can in your own life before, you know, you get married and have kids, and then it's not like really about you anymore. So I think, especially for where I'm at, I'm 19 right now, I think it's time to be selfish, but also like take that with a grain of salt and still, you know, live your life and be a good person. So yeah, that's it. I got a big thing out here. I hate this term. I don't know why people call it this, but clout chasing is very real and very normal. Everyone does it, whether you want to or not, whether you know you're doing it or not, whether you recognize it or not, everybody does it. But the thing is that when you live in a place where you know that celebrities live like 20 miles at most away from you, it's hard to not like get sucked up into this life, because it's really, Los Angeles is a place where, you know, all the celebrities live, all of people that are making it are here. And so it's like when you can get with the people that are cool. I don't even know, I feel stupid even talking about this. Everybody wants to be known, everybody wants to be relevant, so they try to stick with the relevant people, which I don't think is a bad thing. I think it totally makes sense, especially in a place like here. Like, the levels to that are way higher than like somebody trying to like clout chase in Wisconsin. Like, there's nobody to chase. Like, who lives there? I mean, no, I should reword that. I do think it's bad if like your intentions aren't great. I think if you're like clout chasing as in like not bad, is that like the same thing, like clout chasing as in like you just want to be friends with somebody that's like more famous than you? I don't know. I don't think that's bad intentions. I think like you just befriend. So many people that I've become friends with, I don't even know that like they have a lot of Instagram followers and shit like that. Like, I don't know. I think if you're trying to like just befriend somebody and get what you need out of them and then leave, like that kind of clout chasing, no, I don't think that's cool. But if there's good intentions in clout chasing, if there can be, I don't know. Okay, the party scene. This is something that is hard for many people when they move out here, me included. It is very hard to get stuck up in the party scene. LA has some of the best clubs, some of the funnest places to go party at, and it's hard to not get sucked up into it. And I think you have to be careful with that, because there was a point when I moved here that I was going out every night, like insane, out until the morning every single day. And you need to realize that partying is fine if you're of age. I'm being real right now. I'm not trying to be a bad influence on anybody. This is really being real. So to be honest, age does not, like, nobody gives a shit about your age here when it comes to really anybody, if you know the right people, which is a bad thing and a good thing, because it's probably not the safest. But as long as you know people, you can kind of get in anywhere, which is like pretty insane, no matter what your age. But you have to be careful. You have to set your own limits, because nobody is like watching you all throughout the night, looking at what you're doing. So you need to realize that you need to make a balance between partying and going out and work. And the ratio should be more work, because for the first few months of living here, even now, I'm working on it. Don't get caught up in it. Don't get sucked in. It's hard. It happens. I don't even think I want to get into this whole entire promoter talk, so I'm not going to, because I'm not into it right now. So I'm not going to talk about it, but maybe in a later video I will go all into that, because I had no idea what a promoter even was until I moved out here. And I don't really know if I want to talk about my experience with promoters, because some of my best friends are promoters, but maybe just keep them friends because I don't even want to talk about it. Okay, we're good. We're done. There is so much shit to do in California. In LA, there's always stuff to do. That's one of the best things about living here, is that it's like kind of hard to be bored because there's so much stuff to do. The only problem is that it all costs money, like, to be honest. I think like there's so many restaurants to go eat at, but obviously they're all expensive. There's so many, you know, like places to shop, Rodeo, the malls. You can go to Santa Monica and go to the beach. There's always something to do, so that's one of the greatest parts of being here. Okay, another thing that I don't really know how much I'll talk about it is that dating is hard out here. Yeah, boys, don't trust them. I'm just kidding. Not really, but like if you have a good one, go for it. But girl, you be careful out here. It's a war zone. I don't want to talk about it. Obviously, it's not a great subject for me to talk about right now. So I think depending on what you came out to LA to do, I think depending on your area of expertise, I'm so smart. Everyone is very competitive out here, and when it comes to markets like modeling or acting or singing, there are so many talented, amazing people here, and it's very hard to find like your spot in it all, and I think it takes a long time. I'm not there yet. It's only been a year, but like it takes years to establish yourself in a place like here as somebody, just because there are so many people here, period, but there are also so many talented people here. So the competition is crazy. Everything is very go, 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 and it can be hard to keep up, but you gotta know your strengths and you gotta know your weaknesses. And you also gotta know that, bitch, you are just as good as anybody else getting those roles or getting those jobs in a competitive environment like this. Like, it's tough, but you can do it too. We're all just people. Okay, so high key, everything that everyone says is true. It's all very truthful. Los Angeles weather is everything. It's perfect here. It's so nice. It's so warm all year round. It barely ever rains. It has a breeze. It's not humid. It's like 70s and 80s every day. It's insane. Definitely the warmest months are August and September though, and they can get very hot. Definitely also one of the best parts about living here. Okay, this one I thought was funny to talk about. So Instagram. It's so funny because you walk around and everywhere you go, there is at least one person taking a photo. Obviously, as we all know, social media is very prevalent in today's world, but when you come to a place like LA, it is on a whole nother level. Everybody is doing that here. Everybody's taking photos. I don't know if it's just because I live in West Hollywood, but everybody, there's always a place to be taking a photo, and there's always a person taking a photo at that place. Or I see a lot of people vlogging, like everybody's carrying a camera all the time, like documenting their lives. My last point, which isn't going to be relevant for everyone, but I thought I would mention it just in case anybody else goes through this, because I've talked to so many people that have also gone through this as well, so I thought I would mention it. When I moved out here, my skin totally broke out and everything was very bad, especially trying to move out here for modeling. The water is completely different, the air completely different. So it takes a while for your body to transition into like living here and the different climate and all that stuff. It definitely took a toll on my skin, my body, everything, like the way I felt, my allergies. It was all a huge change. I know if you're coming from somewhere that's not that far from California, it probably won't make that big of a difference, but I know even when like I take trips to New York, like my skin, everything is like way different there too. So it takes a long time. It took me a really long time to transition everything and like adapt to the new weather and water and air and climate and everything, because it is way different. And if that happens to you, do not worry, because again, I've talked to so many people that happened to, but it sucked. It sucked so bad. But just know that it doesn't last forever. I am getting back on the track. It's literally been a year and I'm still getting my skin back to where it used to be, which obviously is like the worst, but what are you gonna do? It's what you get for moving halfway across the US, you know? So the final thing that I'm closing off this video with is, do I regret living in LA? Do I regret moving here? Do I like living here? Do I think I'll move out? And did I expect that it was gonna be the same? Like, did I expect what it was? Does that make sense? That was so many questions. We'll start out with, is it what I expected? And the answer to that is yes and no. Definitely some things I expected. I expected the people to be different. They definitely are. The whole vibe here is great. I expected that. I expected like people hardworking, doing crazy, amazing stuff with their lives. I think it is a lot of what I expected, but I also didn't expect, you know, the money and the hardships that would come along. I didn't really think about that kind of stuff, which obviously if you live anywhere, there's going to be hard shit happening to you, but I don't know. I definitely have had some of the hardest days of my life here in LA, that I didn't like foreshadow, obviously, and I wasn't thinking I would have a lot of the stuff that's happened to me. I would have never thought would happen to me. So I can't say that I did expect everything, because definitely not, but the whole vibe so far has for sure been a lot of what I expected. And at some point I would love to open up about the shit and the hard things that have happened to me while living here. I don't think I'm ready right now. I don't want to talk about it right now, but at some point I think it would help other people. And yeah, I'd like to talk about it at some point, or write a book so I don't have to talk about it, because I think it's gonna be hard to talk about. Do I like living in LA? Yes. I really love LA. I think LA is home for me at this point, and I think that's super special, especially in a year. I definitely feel comfortable here. I feel like I'm myself here. I feel like the people that I surround myself with make me a better person, and I think like home is where the heart is. I think my home will always be Wisconsin. Like, my family's there. My family is my home, but like, this is where I live, and I really love that I can call this place home. But that's super sappy and that's gross, but I love LA and I love living here. Do I think I'll stay? I don't think forever. I don't know when I'll move away. I can see myself living here for years, but I would also love to experience other places like New York. I would love to live somewhere in Europe for a few years, just explore the world. I think life is too short to only live in one place, but for right now, this is it. I love it here, and I think the good definitely has outweighed the bad so far being here, and I feel like I've learned so much about myself, living by myself, having to create a life for myself just by deciding to move out here and starting fresh, which is not easy to do. I think if you survive out here, girl, you can do anything. Like, I hope that this helped somebody. Obviously, my story, everything like that, what I went through is not going to be the same as what somebody else goes through. But like, I would have watched this video a year ago when I was preparing to move. These are what I watched all day long, but I'm so grateful, and I feel so lucky to have experienced LA and experienced living somewhere that feels like a different world from what I've been living with my whole entire life. This is like on a different planet, basically, than the Midwest. So I feel very lucky, and I think anybody that decides or gets the chance to move here and live here, I think it's worth it, and it's so fun. But I love you guys, and I hope you enjoyed this video. It was so fun to film. I want to write a book. I really do, because It's not been easy, but it's been so worth it. And I love you again. Make sure to tune in for new videos coming very soon. And I will see you guys in my next one. Bye.